Let's talk to Dan Hodges, who's, of course, commentator at The Mail on Sunday. Dan, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Seems like another kind of self-harming incident, this, for the Tory, for the Labour government, doesn't it? I mean, why do they keep doing this stuff?
No, I don't think this is just another self-harming incident. I think this is by far the worst sort of harm Keir Starmer has done to himself and his government and his party since he became Prime Minister. Because this, I mean, you've seen our headline this morning, you know, what you were describing as, you know, a betrayal. Yeah. I mean, it literally is that. I mean, this is up there. This is on a par with, you know, Nick Clegg breaking his pledge on tuition fees.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen it, your viewers have seen it. Set aside the debates about the issue for a second. There are debates about whether or not this compensation should be paid. But Keir Starmer and his colleagues had come down on the side of the debate.
Yeah.
It had been very clear across the board, across the party. I was in the House of Commons yesterday. I was speaking to a Labour MP and I said to a Labour MP, are we going to see a photo of you holding up a board saying you support Waspi? He said, you're bound to. He said, because we all did it.
Right.
You know, we all did it. And by the way, Labour MPs and Labour cabinet ministers are aghast at this decision, and not just the decision, but the way it was managed. They feel blindsided by it. They didn't see it coming, and they realised it's cut the legs out from under them.
Right.
And you know, with previous, you know, I've been on, you know, I've actually tried to defend the government on a number of occasions for some of the things they've done. Up until this point, the line we've had from Labour is, there was this black hole. We didn't know. We got into government and we found this black. There's none of that with this. They knew exactly what the issue was. They knew exactly what the arguments were around the issue. They came down on one side in opposition. They made a pledge to right the wrong in opposition. And this is the thing. It wasn't even as if yesterday Liz Kendall was saying, look, we're really sorry, we'd love to, but we just, I know what you said, but we've come in and we looked at the books and we haven't found the money.
Yeah.
She was saying, in principle, that she thought the Waspi women did not deserve that payment, which is the direct opposite of what her and Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer said when they were in opposition. And it is a disgrace.
But that is the point, isn't it? Because they're not even willing to kind of give some ground and give themselves some humanity, for God's sake, and not appear to be just a load of box-ticking automatons who've gone, no, computer says no, which is kind of how it looks. Instead, it's made even worse by all of these pictures that are in the papers today. We've got Keir Starmer with his arm around one of the Waspi women saying, you know, you've got my support. They're saying, isn't it great to know that we've got the support of the people who might be the next government? Angela Rayner pictured there. We've got John Healey. We've got Lisa Nandy. We've got Liz Kendall herself. I mean, it's absolutely appalling. And people, I can tell you this, Dan, listening to the people this morning who are quite angry, generally speaking, are even more angry this morning, saying, how can this government continue to tell all these lies? And that's what they're being told now, that the government is a collection of liars.
Look, and they're absolutely right to be angry. Now, I come on a lot of the time and I say, look, the game's the game, politics is politics, blah, blah, blah. But this is of a scale that I think few of us have seen before, because the cynicism is just so staggering. It wasn't as if Keir Starmer and his colleagues gave themselves a little bit of wiggle room on this one and said, we'll have a review when we're in government, or we'll look at the issue when we're in government, or even the usual one that, you know, back in my day we used to fall back on is, well, we'll look to solve this problem as resources allow. Right. There was none of that. There was, we all saw what Angela Rayner said, and it wasn't just Angela Rayner. That was Labour's position. Right. We will right this historic wrong.
Yeah. And this is money that they've had stolen from them, were her words, right? What about what Brian Leishman has to say? I mean, in the Times this morning, front page of the Times, Brian Leishman, Labour MP for Alloa and Grangemouth up in Scotland, saying, it made me think of issues like Grenfell, Hillsborough and Orgreave. I think today is another one of those historic injustices that are a stain on society. I mean, those are some strong comparisons there.
No, the point is, this is not a stain on society. This is a stain on Keir Starmer, and this is a stain on Keir Starmer's government. This is his decision. Now, you know, as I said, there may have been lots of arguments, and there are lots of arguments about why the Waspi women didn't actually deserve this. There may be arguments about where the £10 billion could be better spent. But Labour and Keir Starmer did not make those arguments.
No.
Remember, I come back to what, the thing we've touched on a number of times before. Again, this isn't hindsight on my part. I did say in opposition that Keir Starmer would pay a political price, for running around doing this. Butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, a new politics, the Tories lied. How many times did we see Keir Starmer and his colleagues jumping up, attacking Boris for lying to the British public and pledging that when they got elected, the lies would stop?
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think of a more blatant lie perpetrated on the voters than what we've seen here from Keir Starmer.
But also, every time Keir Starmer does an interview, and we're going to show you a clip in a minute with Harry Cole from The Sun, who was out in Estonia with him. I don't know why he was in Estonia, but that's another story. Where he basically said, look, all of these hard decisions that we've had to make, we knew we had to make. Now, hang on a minute. Just a few weeks ago, he was saying, well, we didn't know we had to make some of these decisions because we didn't know how bad things were until we got into power. Well, he can't be both of those things, can't be true.
No, it can't. And on this one, we didn't have any of that. That's the point.
Yeah.
We've seen it. There wasn't, well, this is a bit of a tough one and we'll see what we can do and we'll do our best, but blah, 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 blah. It was quite clear. An historic injustice, and we will right the wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they were all saying.
Right.
We saw, and I saw some people were saying yesterday, oh, well, this was, you got to remember, and this was Labour Party under, they were doing this stuff and it was Labour under Corbyn, etc. You had Liz Kendall out there, holding up her banner. Now, the idea Liz Kendall was dancing to Jeremy Corbyn's tune, when Jeremy Corbyn was in power, or was somehow being blackmailed by the left into taking up her positions, is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Labour are absolutely bang to rights on this. They're getting a mountain of criticism, and they deserve it.
Yeah.
And just one final thing. I understand the strategy. I said this yesterday. I understand the strategy of trying to front load the bad news when you come into government. So I get the politics of it. You front load the bad news. You spend the next 4 years telling people we took the tough decisions, but now you start to see the benefits. But there comes a point when you front load so much bad news onto your government, you effectively break the back of the government.
Yeah, exactly. And you ruin people's expectations, and you completely trash your reputation. And that's what they've done. Nobody believes a word he says.
Absolutely. Exactly. Who is going to, in the days and the months to come, Keir Starmer is going to have to start making additional pledges to the British people. Who on earth is going to believe him? Right. Because all they're going to do is point back and say, well, on any issue, you told the Waspi women that. That's what you told the Waspi women. Right. It's a political disaster, but it's not just a political disaster. It's wrong. It's just completely wrong.
Well, it's morally reprehensible in my view. Let's have a look at what he said to Harry Cole out in Estonia.
Did you think it would be this rough this quickly? You've garnered quite a few nicknames so far. You've got your Starmer the Farmer Harmer, your Free Gear Kid. Did you think it's going to be this rough this quick?
I've had a lot worse than that in my time, Harry, over the years. So there'll be a great collection of them.
Do you think it's a bit unfair? Did you think it was going to be this difficult this quickly?
Look, we've had to take tough decisions. You can't have everything. But what I decided was prioritise making people better off and getting those waiting lists down. Yeah. And we had to do that. We'll be judged by that in
Have you made
course.
Mistakes in the last 5 months? Have you made any mistakes so far in office?
Well, all the decisions we've made were decisions we knew we had to make, but I wasn't prepared to walk past the difficult decisions.
So he's trying to tell us at the same time as making us feel better that he's taking these tough decisions because people need to be better off. Well, we're not better off, and waiting lists have to come down. Well, they're not coming down. So even his justification is wrong.
But he may be right. I mean, who knows how the politics of this play out? Issues move on. Who knows? Waiting lists come down. The economy starts to improve. People might forget this. But the key thing that we saw.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm sort of start to lean a little bit towards your thinking on this, but the point is, we don't know. But here's the thing: the key thing about what he said was, he said every difficult decision we take, and we knew we'd have to take that decision.
Exactly.
He didn't tell the Waspi women that, did he? Right. He didn't say, I'm really sorry. When we're in government, we're going to have some very difficult decisions to make, and one of them may well be, I'm afraid we're not going to be able to right this historic wrong. He said, trust us. We saw Angela Rayner. Angela Rayner said any government any government will have to right this historic wrong. Now she's in government, and what's she going to do?
Right.
Is she going to throw the Waspi women on the scrap heap? There are going to be, as I said, I was in the Commons yesterday. I was speaking to a lot of MPs. I was speaking to a lot of ministers, and Keir Starmer is now getting himself into some serious political strife.
Yeah.
With his own MPs and his own party. They are now starting to say, hang on a second, come on. We know there have got to be tough decisions, but, we've got to give people, they're saying, we've got to give people something to show them why they voted for us. And it cannot simply be this constant litany of bad news, bad economic news, and basic lying.
Well, this is it. I mean, every single time I come on to do this show, every day of the week, you think, are they going to just have a period of calm? Are they just going to... They don't seem to have had one. They don't seem to understand that sometimes periods of calm are good in politics. They keep making these announcements which make things worse, and then the next day, you're sort of punch-drunk in the ring going, blimey, now what's he going to do? Oh, he's going to hit me with something else. And they just keep doing it. It's bloody Christmas, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, here's the other thing, right? Which we didn't touch on. I mean, you sort of half touched on it. We saw him there with Harry, right?
Yeah.
In Estonia. What's he doing in Estonia?
Yeah, I know. Why is he there? Apparently he wanted to show that his solidarity with the Baltic states in case Russia decides to invade them.
They know we've got solidarity, and that's really lovely. But I'm sorry, you've got to. This was a major policy decision that was taken, a major betrayal. Keir Starmer's not even in the country when these. And he knows the people around him know about this narrative of never hear Keir.
Right.
I mean, I genuinely don't understand what he thinks he's doing.
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, who's running the clattering train? I mean, we all heard about Morgan McSweeney being this, boy genius who was going to take Labour to grand new heights, and he was almost Blair-like in his, zeal for the truth and for, the high moral ground and all the rest of it. Well, either he's useless or he's not running it.
I think the point is, with all these things, everyone I've spoken to has said since Morgan McSweeney's come in, Super 8 was a disaster. Morgan McSweeney's come in. People were saying things are better as a result of that. But the reality is, Keir Starmer could have Jesus Christ Almighty as his senior advisor. He's the Prime Minister. If he's going to make these decisions, if he's going to go out and say to the Waspi women, trust me, when we get in, we will right this historic wrong, then jet off to Estonia, stand in front of a helicopter looking like a prize lemon, while back home, his own government...
wearing a zipped-up cardigan, which is never a good look.
Are going bonkers, then that's on Keir Starmer. That's not on anyone else.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, if he was sort of somebody's teenage son, you'd be calling him up going, come on, son, it's time to come home. You're making a fool of yourself.
Well, I mean, the point is, it's now... The other thing is, as you said, Labour MPs thought they were... remember, they were already worrying about where they were going to go with winter fuel on this, right? Labour MPs were already worried about, there was going to be a winter fuel crisis and also an NHS beds crisis. So they were already worrying about that. Yeah. They wanted to get, as you said, to Christmas without any more muck-ups. And they do not understand how this has just suddenly been, just dumped out a couple of days before Christmas. This will be the end point of this of this stage of Parliament. Yeah. People are going to go away. This will be what people remember as Parliament rises. This is the end point, and it's just Labour MPs are just saying, what is going on? Yeah. And who can blame them?
I know. Absolutely incredible. Dan, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. A lot of people are now worried that if you're losing faith, what does it mean? How serious is it for Keir Starmer? I think it's pretty serious.